Hello and welcome. My name's Suzanne from Nonstop Papercrafts. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at making some more pockets with book pages. So let's have a look at the prototype so you can see what we're going to create. So this is the first variation of the prototypes that I made. So this has 3 pockets and this is just from 2 book pages. So we have a small pocket at the front, a slightly larger pocket just behind, and then on this variation I did a huge side pocket, so there's a lot of space back there for tucking any larger pieces of ephemera. So this was just a book page or 2 book pages from an old history book. I really was drawn to this ceiling of Ely Cathedral, and I tried to keep as much of it as I could. Obviously some's hidden behind with the pockets, but I tried to keep as much of it as I could at the top, which is why I decided to go for the side opening rather than a top one, because obviously this then would have to be shorter. So that's why I went for the side opening. Another variation is this one. So this is using normal book pages, and this time I do have the pocket at the top, so this is why it's shorter on the page, so that obviously you've got enough room for tags or whatever else you're sticking in there. So there is a large pocket at the back, a slightly shorter one in front, and then a small one at the bottom. Now when I was making these I was having a slight play around, so I think it was Pam from the Paper Outpost who had this kind of idea of using the 2 book pages. And to make these 2 pockets, so this is one book page at the back and then this is the other book page, but the way that it's folded, so obviously I tried to keep this one writing the right way up, but this one, as you can see, maybe just the writing is upside down, so that's why I've kind of covered it a little bit with these embellishments at the bottom. Obviously you don't have to if you don't mind writing being upside down, but the idea is for this one it's kind of folded over to create that 3rd pocket at the front. So I was also then playing about, and that's why I did the other one, because on this one I've tried to keep it the right way up, because again I really liked the pictures on this one, but then obviously the middle pocket then is upside down because of the way that it's folded. But I thought, well, that doesn't matter, because as soon as you start having tags and stuff, you're not really going to see the second pocket. This is the one that you're going to see. The only reason that one's upside down is, like I say, because there is a fold. So I thought we're going to try and make another one of these now, but this time I'm not going to put a fold in. I'm literally just going to cut 3 sections of paper. So still use 2 pages, but just have 3 sections. So let's give that a try. So what you're going to need are some different book pages. So because I quite liked the pictures, and just to kind of give it a bit more variation, I thought I would do a bit of a mixture of book page and then maybe a patterned paper as well, just to kind of break it up a little bit. So I have a paper pad. I've got this one, Passion for Vintage Craft Sensations. Not sure where I got that from or even how old this is, but I really like this because it's not card, it is actually papers, and they have got some lovely designs in there, so I may use one of those. I've also got this big one, so this is quite an old, well, you can see June 2015, but this also has some lovely papers in, so I may pick from here as well. And then obviously I've got my book page from an old book that I've dismantled. So let's pick one book page then. And what shall we go for first? Let's maybe pick from here. So what have we got? Oh, that's fallen out, and that actually is quite a nice contrast to the book page. So yeah, we'll go with that one as it's fallen out. Clearly that's the one that wanted to be used. Okay, so I have a pattern page and I have my book page. So obviously the main thing you need to think about is the way that you're going to have it. So are you going to have like this one here, a shorter 3 pockets, so that obviously you can have the opening at the top, or you can make it fit the page and then it will be like this one, and you can have a side pocket. So I think for this first one, we'll just make it shorter and do it like this. Okay, so because it's going to be shorter, just trying to think how much book page I'm going to need. So first of all, I'm going to trim off the white bits, because again, it needs to obviously fit onto your page in your journal. So depending on whatever size that you've made, your main or your largest piece obviously needs to be able to fit that as best you can. So I'm just going to get rid of the white bits along the edges and trim off some of that bottom. Okay, so I've trimmed this down. I've taken a little bit of white from the sides, also trimmed the bottom and the top, and then I've trimmed my pattern piece to be the same width as my book page. So what we need to do now is decide on the height. So let's just find a page that we can sit it against. So if it's sitting on this page, obviously we're going to do the shorter one, so I do need to bring it down a little bit, and then obviously we're going to need the patterned piece in between. So what I might do is where this paragraph starts, I'm going to trim that here. This then can make my front small pocket, and then this bit is going to be my main large pocket, and then I can trim this to kind of be somewhere in between. So I'm just going to take off that bottom bit first, and then we'll have a look at what size we need the pattern paper. Okay, so here are my two pieces of paper. So like I said, this is going to be my main pocket. This will then be the smaller pocket on the front. So all we need to do then is measure this to be somewhere in between. So it could come to just under this one. Okay, so all you need to do now is just figure out where it needs to be cut. So if I fold it up, that's roughly where it needs to be trimmed. Okay, so I'm just going to take that off to my guillotine and trim that bit off. Okay, so here are my three pieces of paper. So this pattern piece is going to go on top of that one, and then this one's going to go at the bottom. See, this way we now have broken it up a little bit, so we've got a pattern in between, and all of our writing is the correct way up, so you don't have to worry about thinking when you're folding which way up your paper needs to be. So that was a nice easy way of kind of changing the way that that other one was done, because like I said, I've had to cover up here where the writing was upside down, and in the first one that middle page is upside down. Like I said, that doesn't particularly matter because you'll have tags and things in there, so that will kind of cover that up. But just to save the issue altogether, using three separate pieces, so we've still only used one book page and then one other piece of paper. So it could have been another book page, you could have used music paper, just something to contrast with the book page. So all we need to do now is ink it up and maybe cut some thumb holes and then glue it down. Okay, let's do that. So let's start off by inking. So I like to use Vintage Photo. I know it's very popular among a lot of crafters and junk journalists, but it's definitely my favourite. I'm sorry if you can hear the rain. It is absolutely miserable today and it's pouring down. Right, let's do a thumb hole. Okay, so that's one layer. Let's do a thumb hole for here. And just ink that slightly along the top. It's quite a heavy pattern, so you're not going to see the ink too much. I'll do a little bit at the sides where you're it's going to poke above the shorter pocket. That's it. And then last one. Oh, thumb hole might help. The only reason I make that crease is just so I can get it roughly in the middle. I don't normally mind, but lately I have been really wonky doing these, so that just helps me kind of know roughly where the middle is. That's quite a big bit of ink there, never mind. Yeah, I'm not going all the way down because obviously you're not going to see that once we get the other layers stuck on top. Okay, so let's just build it just to see where we are. Okay, excellent. So that's how our pocket is going to look. Right, so again, there are options when you are fixing this together. So you could use a double-sided tape, you could use a wet glue, you could sew. On one of mine I sewed, on the other one I used a wet glue. So yeah, the choice is up to you. Obviously it's whatever you have available. So I am going to glue this one as I did sew one of my others. Okay, so all we need to do is just make that U shape. So obviously where we've got the thumb hole, we're not gluing this side, so I normally hold this side so I know not to be gluing this edge. Then you just want a thin bead of glue just in that U shape, and then stick that to the bottom here. And just give it a press down just to make sure that it's grabbing the other piece of paper, and then do the same on the back of this one. Went a bit too close to the edge on that one. Let's try that again. Oops. And this, the bottom of that page. And again, just a quick press around the edges. To make sure that it's really glued down. Okay, so this is our pocket. So as we can see, we've got a pocket at the front, one in the middle and one at the back, and that's just made from 2 pages. So one book page and then one pattern page. As I said before, you can mix and match, so we could have used music paper in the middle, you could have used a magazine in the middle, you could have done it the other way around, so you've got your pattern paper on these 2 pockets, and then that was your book page. There are so many different ways that you can now have a play about with this. I have altered this slightly from obviously what I saw with Pam, so if I just show you the other one again, third one. Okay, so this was the one that I saw originally, and it is shorter, these middle 2, than the outside pocket. So the only thing I've done then is I've adapted that slightly by making it the same size. Okay, so this was the one that I originally saw from Pam. Like I said, it was also folded up, but I don't know, you may be fine with it being upside down, but I think I was just trying to think of a way of how we can have it all the right way up. And I've still only used 2 book pages, so I'm not using more. Obviously, if you were using smaller book pages, then you may have to use more than 2, but yeah. And then, as I said, on this one, it was quite nice because it was larger, and I've got a nice side pocket as well. So as you can see, there are many variations to this type of pocket. You can have your side top pocket, you can have one at the top. I've also changed the fact that this is all the same width. You could also even add another pocket if you wanted at the top, so you could have another layer and then the whole thing is a side pocket, so you'll then have 4 pockets. I have really enjoyed making this today, and I really hope that you have had a go too, and that you also find joy playing with the papers. If you have found this useful, I'd really appreciate a like. If you would like to see more crafty videos where I'm kind of filling up this journal with different prototypes and ideas of different tuck spots, pockets, ephemera, page decorations. I will even be doing some videos on how to make junk journals. If you're interested in any of those sorts of things, please click subscribe. Also make sure that you click that bell so that you're notified when any new videos appear. I'm also available on social media. You will find all the links in the description below. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful crafty day. See you later. Bye bye.